Hello, my dotlings, and welcome to another Shameless Self Promotion right here in Madame Tortuga's Lounge, hosted by Dottie the Psychic. Shameless Self Promotion is a place where energetic influencers, metaphysical merchants, and spiritual speakers can talk about everything from the services they provide to the community they're trying to build. And remember, if you like their story, to catch more of it on Patreon, where the patrons go to support me, Dottie. And if you'd like to learn more about me, Dottie, you can go to dottieThepsychic.com. Enjoy the show. So, tonight's special guest is
Shannon Diaz. I'm a local writer and I'm helping plan the Metro Valley Pagan Pride. I'm acting secretary.
Yes, and we love you for that.
I keep y'all organized and on task usually.
Girl, you really do. You really pump out the work for Metro Valley Pagan Pride. She is the one who, if you see something that written for Metro Valley Pagan Pride, it's usually either her, myself, or Robin. Those are the three people who have been doing the bulk of the writing for all the Facebook posts, the website that we're working on, and there are a lot of other people involved. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people involved, but the bulk of the actual writing, and honestly, you have been just an absolute champ on this whole thing.
Yeah, and whenever I see fun stuff out, I aggravate Dottie like, hey, yo, you want this?
Right. And also, I gotta give you credit, you're one of them that will just handle an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Which, we do things pretty democratically at Metro Valley Pagan Pride because we're building a community. Right now, we've got 6 of us, who've put in. Huh?
Yeah, about 6. It's about what I remember on the meetings. Now, I think there might be 1 or 2 I haven't met yet. But yeah, there's usually about 6 of us.
Right. And, we've been generating things to make them happen. We still got a lot of things that are in the think it out stage that we're working on. But we've actually put a lot of real work together for the Metro Valley Pagan Pride community. So tell us a little bit about what Metro Valley Pagan Pride means to you.
For me, it is showing my children that there are people like them. There are people they can count on if they need to. They are not alone in this area. And that was something that especially my oldest daughter was a little concerned about because she didn't really vibe with, we're in the Bible Belt. And that never really did vibe with her. And my husband and I, we never, forced anything on the girls religion-wise. We just said whenever they're old enough to make their own decision, they'll make their own decision. And so my oldest daughter, she started asking him questions about witchcraft and paganism and stuff because she knew his great-grandma, so her great-great-grandma was a bruja down in Mexico. And so he sat there and he's like, well, honey, he's like, it's been a while since I saw her. I was like 9 or 10 at the time. I don't remember a whole lot other than family tales. Why don't you ask your mom? She's into all this stuff. And she was like, what? And he's like, yeah, she's a witch. Your mom's a witch. You didn't know that? And she's like, well, now that you said it, a lot of stuff makes sense, but she's not openly I'm going to hex you. And he's like, no, she's just not like that. Even though I do wear stuff that says go hex yourself, things like that. But
who doesn't
think it's a joke.
What? We do like to be edgy around here at Madame Tortuga's Lounge.
Oh, yeah, it's comfy. But yeah, and she started asking me questions, and I was like, I know what I know, and you're asking stuff that's not really in my department. Let me ask around, see what I can find out. So I ended up finding Crystal Lotus Shop. I ended up finding Asen, and then I found you from there. I found you two about the same time you started working with him. About the same time I found both of you. So, hey. Um, and I think pretty much that's about whenever you start seeing my name pop up was on like this stuff.
Yeah, when we were doing tea and coffee with Asen.
Mm-hmm. And then
I
whenever
can't,
you'd be on like psychic coffee shop sometimes too, I'd pop in on there as a commenter and things like that. So
I've seen you in many a live stream with me, especially when we're doing like, because when I was doing that with Asen and Joe, we would do we used StreamYard and
mm-hmm,
we would live stream all over the place, and Joe would kind of be handling like the back house end of it.
mm-hmm. You end up hearing him giggle.
It's been a while. Like it honestly, we ran. I mean, think about it. I'm thinking about it because tea and coffee was started when I was meeting with Asen like once a month to try and fill in another blank in my schedule because I was doing something once every week. So I think the first tea and coffee was he and I, and then I like fell off the radar for a minute, and because I have got
You want to show Dottie?
depression.
You want to show Dottie what you've been making? My daughter wants to show you something real quick, Dottie. She's very proud of these.
Okay.
She's making little crochet teddy bears.
Oh, that's adorable.
Oh, those are adorable.
She's making those for
We've got guests on this podcast, extra guests all around.
Okay.
Power off screen.
Oh, that's you. I thought someone else. No, that's me. I looked up it on camera. It looks weird on camera. All right, she ran away. But yeah, I know we've been doing the coffee and tea for what, a year and a half now, maybe 2 years.
I mean, we just quit coffee and tea because
Yeah. No, no, I know that started up like about a year and a half, 2 years ago, and they're still doing it. It's just
at least 2 years ago because I stopped working at Synergy Health in June 2021.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, about 2 years ago, almost.
Yeah, we had already been working together since that March. So yeah, so it's been a full 2 years.
Yeah, and then I think I saw you on Psychic Coffee Shop once or twice too.
Once or twice I stepped in to help. Which, by the way, if you're out there watching, that offer's always on the table. That was like that was no drama. I swear to God, like there were a couple people who were like, "What happened? What happened?" Like nothing happened. Nothing happened. I wanted to change the format of literally everything.
Yeah,
And
you are more with like your quirkiness. It's probably easier for you to do the scripted or the pre-recorded stuff than it is to do the live stream stuff a lot of times.
right. Well, there's that.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed the live stream, but like inevitably I would have like a moment on screen, and like I'm very pro mental health and whatnot, but also there have just been times that you can't take back what you say on a live stream.
Mm-hmm.
Versus pre-recorded, where if I start to stutter like Porky Pig or just space entirely out or just ADD off into the other room, which happened more often than I care to admit. I can't tell you how many times. If you went back, we could be a drinking game. How many times I get up and just leave the room for no reason at all. And especially when we were doing like 2-hour podcasts before he loaded up his schedule with a podcast nearly every night and started to do some analytics work to find out that people only want an hour.
Yeah.
So like I would just get up and bop out of the room for no reason, the dogs, the whatever.
Yep. Oh yeah, like, where he's got the baristas and stuff, and you got your dotlings. Like the baristas were like, "Yo, if you're going to go for like as long as you do, we need a bathroom break unless you want to go to the bathroom with us." And if we all do computers, you ain't coming with us.
Right. That's when they started doing the commercial breaks, which were a godsend.
Yeah.
Those were a godsend. Shorter time period and commercial breaks were an absolute godsend, which I have thought about doing commercials. I would love to do commercials, but I would have to figure that out.
Yeah.
Like everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Metro Valley Pagan Pride would probably be the first commercial. So we're going to get back to, we make it all the way around, folks. It may take us a minute, but we make it all the way back around.
Yeah, we can do, we could probably work on doing something like that. Yes.
You just,
Phone is going to pop up with something. But yeah, probably make something. I mean, I could do like some clips here and there or get some nature shots.
I mean, hell, I'll go out there, like, I'll gladly be, like, the face. Because I've got an editing, because I literally edit. That's part of why we're doing it this way. You know what? Look, folks, I got to tell you, this is how Metro Valley Pagan Pride, that's the part I can edit out, but I probably won't. But this is kind of how Metro Valley Pagan Pride works. We've kind of just been thought dumping. We actually have like a Trello whiteboard for everything. So if you want to participate in Metro Valley Pagan Pride, feel free to go to the Facebook page and participate in the activities there. But also we have a Patreon for Metro Valley Pagan Pride where people can actually vote and interact with other full members. We are trying to get a metaphysical professionals. I want to call it, let's call it the, because I want to call it the Council of Metaphysical Professionals.
Camp, yep.
Yep. So that's probably what we're gonna, because we've got like a $12. That's the $12 tier, and that's for people who are out there taking customers. It doesn't matter how many customers. You don't have to do it full time. You don't have to be like, you don't have to be crazy like me.
If you are going to these sort of events and things to get paid, that's what it's there for.
Right. So.
And didn't you say something you wanted to do something like eventually like swap meets or something for patrons?
We have a whole lot of ideas, and I'm trying to keep the hat on them until, because here's the thing, we've got so many ideas that some of them have fallen away. Some of the bigger, really cool ideas they're in that grind process.
Yeah. Yeah, like some of the stuff we can't do till the website's finished.
Right.
So
some
that's
of
a
it
little harder. Yeah.
Like I want to apply, there's a micro grant that's $1,000 that there is no reason that we couldn't get. We just need the website. And Cindy from Raven's Nest paid for our website domain. I don't know. I think she paid. I don't know if she paid for hosting. I think she paid for hosting, which is not cheap. And I know she paid for the domain. She locked down the domain because she was talking about getting a coming soon page done as soon as they got that through. So hopefully we can get that up relatively soon. Robin's been working on what is Metro Valley Pagan Pride.
Yeah, I was just looking over that for grammar and spelling errors. I only found one, so yay!
That's a lot better than when you grade my paper. Just break out that red pen.
Sometimes too, love her to death. She gets excited. She's like me. She'll like get excited and type it down, and sometimes don't always look it over real good first. Or like if she's like me and like the dyscalculated dyslexia kick in, then it's like, well, I think that's what it's supposed to say. So that's what my brain says is there. I run into that a few times, but I tend to fix it when I find it.
I have confused spell check so badly on occasion that it has given me a word that was completely unrelated to the one I was trying to spell.
It's like, oops, I broke it. Oh yeah, whenever like I'm doing writing and stuff, like just like my regular writing, because I use unique names or I make up names for places. Yeah, spell check don't know what to do with me half the time.
Spell check does not know. So tell us a little bit more about your writing.
I write fantasy romance. I have four books published. I have the first 2 books of the Dark Heights series. That is coming out of publication because the publishing house closed. So I'm working on revamping that enough to open it up on another publisher. And then I self-published Captured Hearts, and that is one of the first story in the Anatara saga. And I'm working on the second one for that. We had a bunch of stuff happen, and between like family stuff and then, like kids with health problems and things, I've been doing all that. So that's been on the back burner. And then I have a shorter story that is just a modern romantic retelling of Little Red Riding Hood. So it's just a modern version of younger, like mid-20s. Younger than me, okay? Younger.
Yes, I feel you, girl. I feel you. Young. You can still be young and still be an adult at this age.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember all the adults looking at me and say, "You're still a child." And like now I understand why. I'm like, I'm not a child. I can sign contracts and everything.
Yeah, it's a running joke at my day job. Hey, I need an adult. You're older than me. Yeah, but you have more authority than me, so come here. So now it's like, he's like, do you need an adult or do you need authority? Both. He's like, you're literally older than me. Not by much. Get over here. It's fine. I'm not going to bite you today. It is fine.
Well, if they wouldn't give you a reason to bite them, then you wouldn't bite them at all.
Exactly. But to be fair, staying out of reach is smart. I'll give him that. Just for those basic questionable on if he's done anything. And then, but yeah, so I write stuff like that, and I'm working on the second book for the Anatara saga. I also help a friend of mine. She writes webcomics, so whenever she just needs help with her storyboarding, she's like, hey, yo, fix it. So I help her out with that from time to time. And or even if she's just got like an idea she wants to run by me and she just needs it to mesh and just be a little more cohesive. Here you go. This is an idea. And she can take it and run with it or whatever. I'm happy to help my friends out, as you know.
Yes. Girl, you're a godsend. God's sent. Yeah.
I know this.
It's fine. All the gods.
Yep. And then, but yeah, so that's pretty much what I do. And all that started out was I was stuck home in a holler, helping take care of my grandma and wanted something to do. So I was working on a story during the day. And between taking care of 2 kids under 4 and my grandma. So my husband was like, go do that all day. You need to get published. And I was like, I mean, I'll send it out. And publishing company liked it and they picked it up. And then I wrote the sequel for it. And then, had some stuff happen. Mom passed away, that kind of thing. And it's like, okay, well, I'm dealing with that. My grandma, and then my grandma passed away not long after that. So it's like dealing with that, and then having to get everything back in line and get back in the mood to write again. And then just and then you start getting in the mood to write again, and then shit happens. And then, well, you kind of rebuild your mood. Because it's a lot of it's mood. A lot of people, there's a whole lot of work that goes into it. But if you're not in a mood to write, you're not going to touch a keyboard or a pen or nothing.
Oh, that's how you get writer's block. Right. That is exactly how you end up with like a terminal case of writer's block. There have been days where I'm like, I have the time to sit down and do this.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing comes out.
No, I'll work on a different project of some kind or a different idea, or I'll go back and I'll edit.
Right.
And see if I can just kind of get the juices flowing. And if I can't, I can't. And that's fine. Today just wasn't a day meant for writing. But I can't force myself to write because then you end up with stuff that you hate. And then, hey.
God, yes. That, I have tried because this is a profession and I do want to try and get content out to my dotlings in some sort of fashionable manner, which I hope they're all laughing at me considering my tendency to fall off about once a year. I'm good for about 9 months work a year.
Mm-hmm. It happens. Everybody needs a little bit of a break. It's okay. Whether you do the whole break at once or you make it up into smaller breaks.
I am trying to get back into editing. That's something because I've got this massive, just ugly video coming from where all the protests were going on at the Capitol from
Mm-hmm.
from February and March.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow I got like, you know, once you go to, you know, a rally's like a potato chip. You can't just do one.
Yeah, my kids are talking about going, and I'm like, you're not going without me just for safety purposes.
Yeah. Honestly, it was not as dangerous as, I mean, we're not in New York. We're not at Washington. We
So
are
if we were in New York, I'd be saying they weren't going unless my friend was with them. He's a cop. So it's
right.
like, you're not going unless he's there to watch you, and you're not going.
Right. And well, another thing is the ones that happened here were actually like most of them were not actually like full blown protests.
No.
They were hearings. They were a lot of them, 3 of them were open hearings. Actually, one of them I got to speak at.
Yeah, I saw that one. I was there like, I didn't even know that you were going to be talking that day. And then like I ended up seeing where it was on there, and it was like the live feed. And my supervisor was like, "Hey, they're talking about that bill because he's like, you know, I know you have a sibling that's trans and stuff. You might want to watch it." So I pulled it up most of the time. I'm like, "Is that Dottie?" And then I heard talking like, "Yep, that's Dottie." Uh-oh.
That's Dottie. They got up there called, yes, I am the hashtag call them heretics, bitch.
Just after you, or the lady after that was one of the owners for where I work.
Oh wow.
So I was there and I was like, "Yo, is so and so supposed to be down there?" And they usually go. And I was like, "Oh, okay, well, I think they're there." So he came over and he looked and he's like, "Holy shit, it is." So like half the office was like watching it while we were trying to take calls.
It was wild. It was genuinely wild. I think we had like, for that part, that was the RFRA hearing, the Restoration of Religious Freedoms Act, which is not what it's meant to do.
Nope.
It's literally the opposite. But whatever.
It's forcing somebody else's religion on you is what it's doing.
What the the reason it was brought up was so that people could discriminate based on religion. So if you didn't want to make a cake for gay people's wedding, you wouldn't have to. The lady who has gotten that sort of started, I cannot remember this bitch's name, but basically she owns a like website design thing she does for weddings for married couples.
She got mad because of gay couples contacted her?
She says, "I want to start a business, but I'm not going to do it if I have to work with gay people. And right now, under the law, I'd have to work with gay people." I'm like, so you might have to have a sense of style? Is that a problem for you? Like,
right?
I mean,
oh yeah, nah. Money's money. If you're there to make money, you're there to make money. If you're there to spread hate, you're there to spread hate. Like,
I have so very little sympathy for these kind of assholes. It's like, girl, look, I am trying that. I am not, this is not a political channel. We don't talk politics here. Yes, we do, but we're not supposed to.
We're not supposed to support a particular candidate.
Yes. Now, okay, Metro Valley Pagan Pride is a nonprofit, so we cannot spend any money supporting a candidate. It's like it's specifically worded so that we can't spend money on a political affiliation, like just like any other nonprofit. That's why people have been hollering about all the churches that supported Trump should lose their nonprofit, and they should.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this has totally turned into a political podcast. I'm leaving it in. I meant that Madame Tortuga's lounge is supposed to be a place to relax.
Oh, you're fine. Hey, you need a vent, you know.
Right. It's funny. I feel very, very Dr. Ruth. She says a lady who talks about sex as much as I do should never talk about politics. But if you watch the documentary on her, she literally says that, and then they cut to a scene where she's at a pro-choice rally.
Oh yeah.
It's like Dr. Ruth.
Dr.
I love
Ruth
me
would
some
tear some
Dr.
people up. I said Dr. Ruth would have tore some people up.
She's still around. Like, I'm surprised. Like, I think she's just like,
Yeah.
she just celebrated because we was watching a documentary on
Isn't
her. It
she
was
in her 80s?
celebrating her 90th birthday.
90s? Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, I know last I heard her, she was in her 80s. But I didn't know if she was still around or not.
She's actually like a Holocaust survivor.
Mm-hmm.
She lost her whole family
Yeah.
in the Holocaust at like 9 years old or something.
Mm-hmm.
She said they just basically they put her on a train and said goodbye, and that was the last she ever saw of them.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then people want to sit there and be like, it didn't happen. Bullshit.
There are still survivors. Like,
Yeah. Oh,
it kind of scares me when we reach that point. Like, there's nobody alive from World War One now.
mm-hmm.
We're gonna reach a point here in the next decade or two,
Yep.
where there's nobody who was alive during World War II. We won't have the Holocaust survivors anymore because they will have,
Passed on, yeah.
Yeah, they will have just gotten old and passed away. And this rhetoric is still going to be going on, and it's going to be,
You don't have anybody to refute that. I know there's actually a what do you call it? Preservation effort.
Right.
Of people trying to get what information and interviews they can from survivors while they're still alive.
That's awesome.
And that way that we can have it, yeah.
I know there's a big, because there's a whole World War II museum in, a Holocaust museum. I don't know if it's a World War II museum or a Holocaust museum, which, believe it or not, are kind of separate. Because there was a lot more going on than just the Holocaust that time. The whole world was on fire.
Yep. I remember my history teacher in high school, my 10th grade history teacher, asked why it was a good thing we joined World War II. And everybody else was talking about it from like, oh, well, we stopped the war, and that's not entirely accurate, but yeah, we definitely shortened it by a substantial amount. But I pointed out that if we hadn't, we wouldn't have left the Depression like we did. As far as our financial state as a country, World War II is what got us out of that. That's where we ended up getting a lot of our ingenuity and our technology boom and everything like that was because we got involved.
Right.
So I pointed that out, and he kind of looked at me, and he kind of had this bitch look on his face. And he just looked at me, he's like, I can already tell you're going to be my problem student this year, aren't you? I was like, only if you annoy me.
That is the thing with Shannon.
History, there had not been that big of a difference between the year before when I took it or all the years before that I'd taken it in some form or another. So no, and it was like Black History Month, as awful as that sounds, I would always ask to test out of the unit for that month because it was the same thing over and over and over again. They weren't teaching me anything different until my 8th grade year. That year, I ended up with a teacher who actually taught it from a different angle, and I was engaged and I enjoyed it. Even though I passed the test to test out of the unit, he still made me come to class because it was a different angle than I'd learned before, even though I technically passed because I passed the final for the unit on the first day of class. Because that's just what they require them to test for the unit. And he's like, but we're going to do something different than you're used to seeing. So how about you hang out? He's like, I won't grade you. You'll still get your A. I just want you here for it. You just have to show up. And I was like, All right, all right. But that was actually 8th grade was the first time that I was actually engaged since like 3rd grade. Because it was something new. It was a different life experience than I'd ever been exposed to. It was something new that I was allowed to learn that I really appreciated. So, and
Good
then
for that
again,
teacher. That's
yeah,
so
so
the public
I know people,
education system.
yeah, I know it was just so funny because there are people who hear me say, yeah, I would test out that. They think I'm being racist. I'm like, no, I'm not racist. Like, I have aunts and uncles that are black. It was nothing new that I was learning up until that point. So to me, it's like reading the same book over and over and over again. Why am I reading this book again?
I think that's kind of telling that for so many years
Mm-hmm.
it was the same material. Like you
Huh?
think they would advance with age.
What, your sunburn? Okay, did you put cold water? Cold water or hot water? Go do cold, dummy. Yeah, you can use my shower. She's got sunburn and she took a hot shower.
Oh God.
Yeah, she just found out why you don't do that. She's never had a sunburn before in her life. Whenever she was younger, she always had her dad's tan. This is the first time she did not have her dad's Mexican tan, and she got sunburned.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. Wait. Just take a lukewarm or cool shower. You will feel better, I promise.
There's a price for going goth, kid.
Yeah. Yeah, here's the prize right here. Like, she's not as burnt as I am, but I'm used to it. Like, I always burn.
Right. Yeah, we got that good old fashioned Irish descent.
Yep. Yeah, like people sit there, they hear I'm part Native American. I'm like, oh no, but I'm very Irish. Like, you can tell I'm white. Okay. Like, yeah, I'm Native American. Little nose, cheekbones, chin, like all that, Native American. But skin tone, I'm belly up white. All right. Like, you can pull a fish at me and we probably blend in on the belly. It's okay.
If I die in the snow, it'll be spring before they find me.
Oh yeah, my husband, he's always sending me pictures of like the beacons of Gondor are lit, like just those memes. Talking about like a white girl being at the beach. I'm like, bite me. Okay, bite me. See if I come to the beach with you now. When I come down and visit you, bite me. But yeah, so. But yeah, poor kid. I feel bad for her. I say that as I laugh, but it's just kind of like I told her cold shower, aloe vera gel. Didn't listen.
That is, you know what though? It is nice to see somebody. Because I know you like live for your kids. Everywhere you go, you bring them along. Because I think the first time you and I actually met, I only found out you were an author not too long ago. I got to look these books up. But I think we actually met face to face at the Crystal Kingdom event, which was a nice event. I'm so glad they brought that one back. We've got a lot of local events.
Oh yeah, and then like we saw Bea was like, "Mom, is that your friend from online?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's one of them." I was like, "One of the reasons I came was because I knew she was going to be here. Otherwise, and it's just
people from online. You got to watch that shit.
Yeah, still don't get in cars with strangers, but make sure if you need to go somewhere, you get on the internet and order a car with a stranger to take you somewhere. Like, no.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, right.
It is less dangerous when the driver is getting paid.
You hope.
I hope. Most of the time.
At least that's what you tell yourself when you need a designated driver, because you both ended up having more than you should.
Yeah.
That's probably fine.
I'll survive this trip. Probably shouldn't do this regular like.
The more I do it, the more my odds go up. So, you know, we'll keep our odds down. Don't go that often.
Oh my God.
You think Joe was joking whenever he sat there and he said, "I'm a hoot." I'm telling you. I'm usually sarcastic.
I love it. I absolutely love working with you. Just on everything we've worked on.
Yeah, and then I know there was another time too that she saw you at the store and she was like, Mom, your friend's here.
Oh my God, I was miserable that day. I was absolutely miserable that day.
Yeah, I had to help you find sour candies.
Yeah, I had some like impacted, like there's still a
It was like a
little
lymph
bit.
node or something, wasn't it?
It was a salivary gland
Mm-hmm.
because it was like out here on the side of my cheek.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like swollen up like a golf ball. I had to take like a round of steroids, a round of antibiotics, and suck on sour candy. It was awful. So I think I was stopping at Walmart to get the sour candy because I was miserable. I'm like, and it was one of those. I tell you what, like the more I do psychic work, the more it seems like I notice waves of just crap. Like if I'm having a good day, usually everybody around me is also having a good day. But when one of my friends has a really bad day, I have a really bad day. And if I and then like I don't know, it's not like it disseminates out. It's like individually, people I have not talked to in a long time will post Facebook messages about how things have gone to Hades.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know, just part of being a psychic worker, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, where I'm helping Robin with the prayer request thread this week. It's just like all right, yeah. So I'm like, yeah, I can help you with it, no problem. But then it's like on the other hand, I'm like, this should be interesting.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, all kinds of stuff.
We've had some interesting prayer requests.
Yeah. Well, and then like everything that just seemed to happen this weekend right before she went on vacation, and it's like, okay.
We get like a list of prayer requests.
This. Like, no, let's not throw me in the deep end. I have not been ordained yet, okay? We don't need to toss me in the deep end.
That's all right. I got my ordainment off the line. Off the line. Yes, off the line. That is what it's called nowadays. That's how the kids say it.
Well, I mean, that's probably what I'll end up doing, mainly because like I have friends that keep asking me if I would do their weddings. And it's like, come up with the date first and then ask me. We'll see how things go then. And they haven't even got like dates set or nothing yet. So I'm like, there's no rush.
We need to figure out how we can get ordainment through Metro Valley Pagan Pride. Like,
I don't know if you can do it directly unless we can get affiliated with that Universal Life.
No,
you can't.
No. I mean, I'm not saying we can't. I'm saying we don't have to.
Okay, well, yeah, we can look. I can probably research that.
I mean, we are technically a religious group.
Mm-hmm.
Where we are, well, not even technically, we are a pagan group, which we, of course, we welcome atheists and everybody. Paganism is an umbrella term, but it is enough of a religion by itself that it's recognized by, the IRS.
Let me see here.
And see, this is why I love Shannon. She's looking it up right now. I'm watching her look it up. So is my fiance. See, this is what I love about. See, I'm the ideas guy. I'm the one that spouts off of the mouth. I'm very flashy and I catch people's eye. But they're the ones that write the scripts. They're the ones that fact check me and tell me to check myself before I wreck myself.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, so become an ordained minister. Let's get ordained in West Virginia.
Because I know all I had to do was turn in 2 letters. It's only like 2 letters that you have to send in. It's not difficult.
Yeah, well, like, I mean, they have, if you go to the youcanofficiate.com and pull up the West Virginia thing, they have a whole thing of, you can get an ordination packet. approval for your West Virginia minister application. You can also check the West Virginia secretary. I'm guessing they mean secretary.
Yeah, Secretary of State. You know what? This is something we're going to look up and see if we can't get qualified as a church. There's no reason to go through the Universal Life Church.
we would have to get registered, it looks like, as a marriage celebrant entity. So if we do that, it looks like we might be able to ordain people. But I don't know what the cost is with that. That is something that we would probably have to. I mean, I'm literally right like stone's throw from the Putnam County Courthouse. So I might be able to go down there one day and ask them if they know if, like, I'll just say, hey, I'm part of a nonprofit, a religious nonprofit, and they're wanting to know if it would be possible to get registered to have people, to sign people up to be an officiate. I don't think I would get into.
And this is how Metro Valley Pagan Pride works. We're going to be huge.
Yeah, because everybody that I know who is not like an actual like church preacher got theirs
through the Universal Life Church.
Yep.
Or the Unitarian Church, but they do actually have like a program.
Mm-hmm.
The Unitarian, like the Unitarian Universalist will make you work for it. The Unitarian Life Church is a scam.
Literally, like, fill this out, pay this fee, here you go.
Yeah.
Your letter of member of good standing.
Yeah. Like all you have to do to be a member, to be a reverend in the Universal Life Church is fill out the online form, and then you can pay for the packet. That's where I got my robes from. I've got a set of priest robes. Let me show you real quick.
But yeah, I think I mentioned that if we got enough ordained people working at the nonprofit or helping it, we could set up. Oh, nice.
Ooh, that is pretty nice. The full length priest robes. I actually wore these in the scammer video. So I could justify them.
But one of the services that we could offer was, have somebody go and officiate at weddings for either a fee plus mileage to reimburse the person for the mileage, and then the rest go back to the nonprofit, or something like that as a means of helping get money for the nonprofit. But
right. I would just like to be able to connect people. We had started a clergy list, and I think 2 or 3 people had signed up for it, and we haven't really pushed it, but we've got it already. That's one of the things that we've set up. There's a lot.
That's also too. That's another one of those things that it's kind of hard to do much with until we get the webpage up to show people that, hey, this is what it looks like.
Right.
You can sign up, and people can connect with you here.
Honestly, we've only been at this since February, and the first month of that, so that's only February, March, April, and we're really just starting into May. February and half of March was just trying to get the substructures set up. Oh my God. Like that was my big part. Like, I'm like, I nearly walked away from that. I'm like, okay, somebody else gets that. I paid for it. It's all set up. Somebody else gets to be the president now. Yeah. Getting the bank account, getting the 501c3 form filled out. Like I have a friend who's actually asked me to help her get started on it. She wants to come in tomorrow. I'm like, well, I'll be glad to do this for you. But, not for you. I will be glad to help you walk through this land of it's awful. Setting up a nonprofit is all of the work, all of the payments, and all of the work is on the front end. So Uncle Sam gets their money. They just get it all on the front end. But, yeah. And I still have to go down. I have to go down to the Secretary of State here in West Virginia and turn in the 501c3 paper. I keep getting tax forms for, until you show that you're a 501c3, we're going to keep sending you tax forms. Eventually, we're going to be very fussy about that. I'm like, I just need to go down there. That is the perpetually
for next tax season.
Yeah, it's one of these. So I've got this running list of I need to do this tomorrow list of the shit that's been on there, and some of it has been on there for way too long.
Next time you head to where you got to take it, Charleston?
I work in Charleston. It's not that I can literally walk to the courthouse. It sucks.
Yeah. Well, I was
But I
just
can
saying,
get,
like one day if you can take a long lunch and go do it.
that's probably what I'm gonna do. Actually, like,
Yeah, that's what I do with shit I don't want to do is I'll take a long lunch and go do it if it's
Yeah.
around the area I work.
right? Like this is what I'm playing hooky, which makes me feel good, even though I'm having to do something that sucks.
Mm-hmm. Get yourself a little treat, get a little bit longer of a break, take stuff out to a nice lunch. You earned it because you did the extra work today and got yourself a
Right.
nice lunch and go back to work.
I know that, like, girl, see, this is really great for you because you always get your work done. Because, so like,
Well, I got the ADD that like hyperfixates. I don't have the one that's like squirrel. I got the one that's, oh, here's a to-do list. I'm gonna finish it. Like I get that dopamine rush from getting it done. Like, but I hyperfixate on that and then I get it done and then I'm good. Now there are times that it might take me a minute to get up the motivation to do it, but I've got everything there lined up, ready to go. I just have to get the motivation to do it. And that's
it's almost like you're waiting to catch it's like trying to catch a fly.
Yeah.
Like you're sitting there, once you've caught the fly.
Watched me get done a ton of work. And like my workplace has watched me like get done like 4 call lists, like stuff that they were expecting to take me all week. I was hyper fixated. I did it in 2 or 3 days. And then they were mad. I didn't have any work to do the last 2 days. I was fine with that. I'll catch incoming phone calls and just read a book. I'm good. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Just don't let them give you any more work than they're giving everybody else.
Oh no, that they have discovered that. Yes. They have discovered that, yeah, while technically I do make more money if the people show up for their appointments, the amount of money that I'm making is not worth the stress of taking on the extra work. So pay me more outside of this amount that we'd already agreed to, or no, I'm not doing it. So they have come to realize that I'm in it whenever I said, no, I'm not doing it. So now they just try to, my boss has gotten where he'll just give me like a little bit of the list. He won't give me like all of it. So he'll be like, all right, well, here's this. So whenever I get done, he's like, I don't have anything for you to do. Okay, well, I guess I'm going to sit here. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm done.
My pagan pride. I know that's a lot of times like,
you gave me something coming to me all day. I got it done in 4 hours. So your choice is I chill or you give me more, you know, hey, like I've already hit my numbers for the day. So I think I chill. And he was sitting there and he was like, I don't have anything else for you to do. I'm like, okay, well, that's okay. And he's like, don't let Chris see you not doing it. So I'll just sit over there, like I'll kind of like position my chair like this and lean over. And then I just like tap my keyboard every little bit. My boss thinks I'm doing something because it sounds like I'm typing. But I'm just sitting there listening to a podcast or reading or listening to a show. Working on a story and emailing it to myself.
Working on Metro Valley Pagan Pride. You've put in a lot of work on Metro Valley Pagan Pride.
Like research stuff. Yep, I've done that a few times too. Yep. Yeah, so I just sit there. Like today though, like we were so busy. Like we didn't even get to take a lunch today, so they ordered us pizza.
Oh wow.
And everybody freaks out because I'm the only one that likes mushrooms. So they're like, well, what do you want on your pizza? And I was like, mushrooms and banana peppers. I was like, well, what I like on my pizza is mushrooms, onions, and banana peppers on thin crust. That's if I'm getting a pizza, that's what I like. And he said, yeah, no, I'm not getting thin crust because nobody else likes thin crust. So what 2 toppings do you want on a pizza? And he went, onions and banana peppers. I was like, oh no, mushrooms and banana peppers. And he was like, mushrooms? Ew. And I was like, so now I saw this like picture. I was like, whenever you guys say ew, whenever I mention mushrooms, this is what I imagine is going on in your all's heads. And it just shows like this little like chibi muffin that looks real angry. And then underneath it, it says angry mushroom noises. So I said that to him today. Like, this is what I imagine is going on in your all's heads whenever I say mushroom.
Okay, folks. I want to thank Shannon. Go ahead and tell us again where we can find all your books and stuff because we're going to move over to Patreon.
Okay. Well, smashwords.com is where you can find Captured Hearts And then the Tales of Pine Woods, Little Red Riding Hood, and the Big Bad Wolf is on Amazon. You can get it free if you have Kindle Unlimited. Otherwise, it's like $1.99, $2.99. Depends on whatever special they're running that week. I think I have it set for $2.99. Sometimes you can catch it for $1.99. It's not like super expensive, so try to keep it within reasonable of how much time it takes a normal person to read. So I try to keep that in mind.
That's probably a little hard for you to keep track of, all things considered.
Yeah,
Okay.
Paying $8 for something it takes me 2 hours to read. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Somebody else.
Fair enough. Fair enough. That was going to take me 16 hours to read. If it takes you 8 hours to read, then it's going to take me a month.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Well, with that, folks, thank you, Shannon, for being on this show. We're going to switch over to Patreon. I would like to thank you all for watching. If you want to hear the rest of this interview, then come catch us up on Patreon/DOTTIE the Psychic. If you want to learn more about me and all the crazy stuff that I'm up to in Metro Valley Pagan Pride, check me out at DOTTIEthepsychic.com. Safe travel. Safe travel and much profit to you. Thank you for listening to another episode of Shameless Self Promotion right here in Madame Tortuga's Lounge, hosted by Dottie the Psychic. If you'd like to hear more of this interview and maybe help out, support the channel or whatnot, you can totally go to Patreon/DOTTIE the Psychic. And if you'd like to see what other craziness I'm into, check out DOTTIEthepsychic.com. Safe travel and much profit to you.